Rob Fenimore here, coming to you from my office at Eastern Lancaster County School District, offering a short little preview of our event coming up on the 24th of October, Dignifying Our Differences. And I call this activity Empathic Inferences. This is real simple. If you want to engage in it, you just need a piece of paper and something to write with. There's no wrong answer. There's no magic. You can't do this incorrectly. What I'd like you to do first is I'd like you to think of a letter of the alphabet, and I just want you to write it down. Here is my letter F. Just take a moment to put that down. When I'm leading a training, I will sometimes offer 30 seconds if I'm working with adolescents, sometimes 15, 20 seconds if I'm working with adults or parents. What I'd like you to do now is I'd like to give you 60 seconds, and you can feel free to pause this preview, to personify your letter. I want you to give it a personality. I want you to think about what your letter might do well and what your letter might struggle with. Don't worry about doing it correctly. However you think your letter would act works for this. So you can pause the video and we'll come back to it when you've taken about 60 seconds. So if I start with my F and I think about my F's personality, F's to me remind me a lot of adolescence. When I look here, there's one leg that we're possibly standing on, which I think can make some of us feel imbalanced. And I notice here that a lot of times when it comes to communication, and we all know how vital and important communication is, sometimes we communicate imperfectly. So for example, when I'm working with someone who's experienced a harm, if I'm working with someone who struggles with self-regulation, some of those intrapersonal skills, someone who might not have a lot of meta-language skills, they do a lot of this. They say, get away. When I think about an F, I think about someone who says, I'm acting out, I'm being self-destructive, I'm harming relationships. And I'm like that F, that I'm pushing people away. Another aspect, another way to look at our F here is there's a lot of people who ask for help, but they do it in such a way that it can be off-putting. With empathic inferences, what we're asking you to do is just consider the other person or the system or the group with whom you're interacting and attempting to communicate with, attempting to address a harm. It can be really tough, but pausing and giving your letter or your person the benefit of the doubt, assuming the best, can really be a helpful tool in engaging them to create a better system, to address the harm, to allow yourself to be heard, to allow your dignity to be recognized, and also to nudge yourself to acknowledge the dignity that the other person, or even the dignity that the system, the history, the previously existing norms deserve, even if we want to nudge, even if we want to invite to change. When I'm doing this with other people, I think about the whole alphabet. And I think about how much pressure there is for an A. I wonder if that's why an A stands like this sometimes. You know, we've got our legs standing there and we've got our arms crossed. A lot of people, a lot of systems become defensive and they don't want to engage. They want to stand firm. They want to stay with the existing set of expectations, the existing norms. This is the way we've always done things. We put a lot of effort into creating this system. Being able to pause and understand the pressure for an A is really key. I don't lose any power by pausing to empathize, by pausing to consider how the other person, the other group, the other system might be feeling. I also wonder with a letter A, how much damage we do to the type A's. You know, some people view a type A is constrained, is difficult to work with, that it's got to be their way. Um, I think pausing and recognizing a type A, the beginning of the alphabet, we assign a value to the letter A, that it's excellent, that's the best when we're grading. That's a lot of pressure for A's to live up to. Pausing and reflecting about how an A might be going through his or her or their day is really key. I wonder if that's why in our alphabet, when we think about this, you know, A's go first with all this pressure. I wonder if that's why B's are big on the top and they're big on the bottom. I wonder if B's feel compelled to protect A's, to clear the path, to make it easier to be an A. I love that B follows A. I wonder if that's why C is there with its mouth open, because it's tired, because we're working together. And C's are announcing that B's are coming through to protect A's, because community and relationships matter. And I love thinking of all the work that letters do. I think about G's setting the table. I think about G's being prepared to help. G's are ready to get to work. They carry around their tray. They're ready to do things. When I think about the alphabet, I think about letters that are next to each other. So when I think about H's and I's, it forms a word. Communication, feeling heard. Hi, H-I. It flows. Being able to be heard, being able to express ourselves is key. When we're engaged with the other, we need to allow for that other person, for that system, for that group to express itself and to hear what they have to say. We've got it built into our alphabet here. And then I think about N's and O's. How often we feel misunderstood, how often the group that we're trying to engage with, how often the system that we're trying to work under or work within can limit us, and how it can take away our ability to express ourselves. And how often do we think we're hearing that? When we're trying to dignify the differences, when we're trying to empathically infer, when we're trying to give the other, the group, the benefit of the doubt, we don't lose any power at all by pausing to consider the other's experience. And then I think about the letter Y. How many of us go through our lives with our hands up saying, I've had enough, I can't do anymore? And how many of us put our hands up and we just want to be heard and seen and taken seriously? I hope that you have the opportunity to join us on the 24th of October. I do my best via Zoom to make it as interactive as possible, to give you as many resources that you can take with you from a variety of sources, that we will begin to dignify the other with whom we're interacting, the system that we feel oppressed by, so that we can offer and engage with change, so that we can hear one another, so that we can humanize one another, so that we can dignify one another, that we can ask for that humanizing to be applied to ourselves, so that we can have our voice. I hope you'll consider joining us. I look forward to spending the 24th with you. Be well.